Hello, hello, hello. It's Thursday, January the 22nd, 2026. And on this day in 1997, while walking in suburban Tulsa, Oklahoma, Lottie Williams became the first person known to have been struck by falling man-made space debris when a piece of fiberglass from a disintegrating rocket hit her shoulder. She was not injured. That was in 1997. Very useful trivia as you go about your day. I'm sure you'll find usefulness for it. It's going to be great. It's going to be great when you go to dinner and you're wondering what to talk about. That's my gift to you. Okay. All right. So as we enter the latter part of January, we're a month in to 2026. And if we've learned anything, it's that, the world is changing rapidly. And so we have an opportunity ourselves to figure out what kind of life we want to have and what the conditions are in the moment and live day by day as much as possible. So that's basically where I'm at. Had just a wonderful conversation with a potential client yesterday who has started essentially it's a recovery business. It's a roofing business, but for people who have had their homes destroyed from natural disaster. And just listening to this person's entrepreneurial journey was an incredible, inspiring thing. I mean, to hear the struggles and how he and his wife, who are a real team, have, they started off doing different kinds of jobs. He's a welder, and she was cleaning houses, and they started a cleaning business and did well at it, but it burned them out. And then they pivoted to something different, and they ended up in this space where they're very mission driven to give back to the community and to help people who are fighting with insurance companies who are, don't want to pay for the repair of their destroyed home. So, I think what I'm really saying is that it's just so inspiring when you get to talk to people and hear their journey. And I saw so many similarities, very different details, but underneath that, I felt a very resonance with my own story. And it was sort of one of those hope restoring and delightful and inspiring connections. And so whether they become clients or not, it was a wonderful opportunity to just hear someone's story. And so it's sort of on brand with where I'm going with things, sharing the stories that matter. So it's going to be really, really exciting. Hired a couple of people on Fiverr to do some design work, and just had a real insight yesterday that it's really hard to get that to work. How much the designer relationship where they know you and they really get you, it's so important. It's like having a photographer who really gets you and they know how to take the shots that you need and that make you look the best. And so I'm just so grateful for my friend Tree in Australia, who I called him up. He's known me for years. He's done such incredible work for me and my company. And I really wanted to just get his advice on why I failed with Fiverr, basically. And by the end of that call, I knew that I had wasted my time and a little bit of money. And I got to let go of that as a resource for that kind of work. So a good lesson, not too costly, and in the grand scheme of things, it'll be just fine. I basically spent some money on some mood boards and got clarity on what I don't want. And that's how it goes sometimes. You try things out and you realize, oh, okay, this is not the path. So, but the other side of that story is that the relationship that you have with someone who's doing any kind of artistic work with you and for you is so critical. When they know you, they know who you are as a human being, and how you're seen in the world and everything. And oh man, it's just a completely different, it's just a different quality of creative production. So I've got a new landing page for a part of my new business that I'm working on, and then podcast art or show art for the next iteration of my show. And so this should be pretty good. This should be pretty good when we get it done. So Tree and his team are going to help me with coming up with a much better design for my new show, and I'll be excited to basically now the timeline is when that gets done, then we can launch. So also excited. I put out 2 episodes this week. Well, I will be today, part 1 of a doubleheader. Saturday, another great episode of the Building Business Relationship Show with a woman named Heidi. Today is Michael Gansel, who's just a seasoned and really smart guy who's started businesses and helped a lot of other businesses improve their operations, and he has some real wisdom about partnerships and how to grow your partnerships through communication, and how critical it is to your business succeeding. So that's great. And Heidi is just this unique kind of unicorn personality. She's 100% her, and that's what I love about her. And she helps people really build relationships through social media instead of just, going for the stuff that doesn't really move the needle, that cheap engagement. That's not the marker of success. It's really, are you being introduced to people that, you can build something with? And she's really got the right angle in terms of making it about a conversation, a relationship building. So I'm just enjoying the people in my life and how many wonderful people that I get to learn from and collaborate with. It helps get through the dark times. I will say this, in my conversation with that potential client, his name is Cody. He said something to me. He visualized the journey of the entrepreneur's choice. And it was essentially that at any point you come to this choice where you can go to the known, the safety, the secure. And for some people, that's a good decision. In his case, he's a welding credential. He's a very good welder, but he knew longer term that was not going to work for him. It's like me and lawyering, same thing. And they chose together. He and his wife chose together to take the risk, make the leap, and go for the dream. And one path feels like it's much more lit. There's a lot more light on that path. You know what you're going to get. You know how much you're going to be paid. You can kind of plan ahead. And for some people, that's actually a higher priority. So I'm not denigrating it. I mean, they're often I'll hear people talk about these choices and they'll say, well, they kind of imply that the entrepreneur's choice is so much braver, so much better. And I don't agree with that, actually. I think it's equally as brave and amazing to choose the vocation that is more traditional and known and work your way up that way. There's a lot of benefits to that. And if your life priorities are in a certain order, that could make a whole lot of sense for a lot of people. For those of us who know in our gut that that's not us, that we have that entrepreneurial bug, then it is not the better choice because you're just going to be unhappy. And so I think I related to him because I could tell Cody was like that. He knew in his heart. So the braver thing for him was to give up the security and go for it, and know that when you go for it, it requires you to fail. I think the only entrepreneurial journey I've heard where it didn't happen in that way, I think the story of Michael Dell, the way I heard it was that, he was in college and he started assembling these computers and then selling them out of essentially his apartment or dorm room. I don't remember which. And he started making a crap load of money right out of the gate. Now, I'm sure that there were a whole bunch of failures, after he started Dell and, things. I'm sure there have been plenty of friction points. Nobody gets out of this unscathed. But I just say that, if you know that's you, then you have an obligation to yourself to go for it. And what comes with that is a lot of darkness, a lot of, I don't know, I can see the vision for where I want to end up. I don't know how I'm going to get there. I do not know how I'm going to get there. And you have to be okay. You have to kind of accept that at some point. You can make plans. You can make strategies. Great. And at the same time, they may fail. you may feel in the darkness. But what Cody talked about was that, and this really resonated, every once in a while, the light comes on. You get some evidence, some illumination from a client, from some opportunity that shows you where you're at on the path. You briefly have really clear visibility, and it may not stay that way. You may go back into the darkness for a while and feel a little untethered, but you get those signs, and it's really, the journey is keeping the faith and staying in the discipline of the journey in between those moments of illumination that show you, oh yeah, you're actually doing really well. And that really resonates with me. So stay on the path, whatever it is for you. And as long as it's true to you, whichever direction, whether it's the more known path, the more traditional career path, or something entrepreneurial, or maybe you did the traditional and now you're ready to move on to something non-traditional, that's okay too. So I think the key is just being really true to yourself, and then having faith and keeping that faith that you're on the right track. All right, that's what I got. I hope it's helpful to you in some way. Help me clarify where I'm at today, and appreciate the value of yesterday a little bit more. So that's the value for me. In the meantime, stay warm or stay cool, depending on where you're listening from. And as always, be good to yourself and others. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll catch you again tomorrow. Bye-bye for now.